Stop buying barbecue sauce. Did you know that barbecue sauce has almost 50% sugar in it? 50%!
Wow.
But what if I told you you can also have barbecue sauce without sugar and without artificial sweeteners, honey, or even fructose syrup? I'm talking about all natural barbecue sauce without anything sweet, but it's still gonna taste sweet. Because normally I do like my barbecue sauces nice and sweet, with lots of sugar in them. First of all, because those sauces make my barbecue look really good. And second of all, because they make my barbecue taste like candy. And of course, they make my ribs nice and sticky. But first I'm gonna get these membranes off the ribs and season them with a little bit of Bitmaster pork seasoning. And of course on both sides. Because if you don't have anything to put your sauce on, then why bother making sauce at all? I'm gonna quickly load up my Bradley smoker with a couple of these hockey pucks. And that's all natural wood chips. They call them Biscuits, and you put them in this dispenser which goes into the door. And then when you hit the button to smoke, it feeds it to the barbecue, which ignites it, and then it starts smoking by itself. I set the Bradley Raven smoker to smoke at a temperature of 120 degrees Celsius. So I'm just going to slide them in now, and I'm just going to let them smoke. Now I started the smoke and set it to 20 minutes, but actually I need a little bit more than 20 minutes. I'm probably going to need about 2 hours of smoking. So I'm going to add a little bit more. I got 1 hour, 20, 40, 2 hours. Check. And I was going to smoke for 2 hours and 10 minutes, but I'll be checking in every now and then just to make sure these ribs are right. But now, back to the sauce. Just because I'm not going to be using sugar doesn't mean our barbecue sauce is not going to be sweet, because there's a trick and a technique to make the sauce sweet. While my pan is slowly warming up at a low setting, and I'm going to put a little bit of butter in, it's a little bit, while I am slicing onions. Sadly, I can't eat barbecue sauce that consists of 50% sugar every day, because otherwise I would just be sponsoring the pharmacy shop with their insulin shots. So I need to get that sugar out in another way, and onion is a great way to do it. Because if I softly fry the onion until it's super soft and sweet and even a little bit brown, it caramelizes. And that brings out the sugar in the onion. It makes it taste so much sweeter. And trust me, when you're not adding sugar or any sugar substitute, you're gonna need this sweetness. And tomato also brings lots and lots of sweetness. And as the lucky coincidence, most barbecue sauces consist of tomato sauce too. So I'm gonna make maximum use out of that by using the tomato sauce, doing the exact same thing to it as the onions by frying it and letting it slowly turn sweet by cooking it for a longer time than you normally would. To understand if it's sweet enough, you gotta go all the way to the darkness, where it's changing color from red to almost brownish, where you just slide the spoon through the pan, and when there's no more moisture at the bottom, you know the tomatoes are done. Now I have 2 layers of sweetness, but that's not gonna be enough. Nowhere near enough. I'm gonna add more by adding apple juice. Now I like to use an apple juice that has been locally grown, and that brings a lot of sweetness and a lot of depth and flavor. This is important. Make sure you get the high quality stuff, because those apples have been grown all the way up to the edge where they're super sweet. But that also has to be reduced all the way down to where the moisture is gone again. Barbecue sauce needs a little bit of thickness, and there's more to come, so we need it dry, where you do the spoon test and all the moisture is gone again. And at this point I'm going to perform a taste test to see how sweet it is. Now remember, we didn't put in any salt, so you're not going to get the full experience, but is the sweetness there or isn't it? Whoa, the sweetness is definitely there. If you're still missing sweetness, you can add more apple juice and reduce it again. Time to add a bit of mustard. That's going to help with emulsifying. Of course, Worcestershire sauce, very important for the barbecue flavor profile. Now I'm also going to add Pitmaster's barbecue seasoning to it, about 3 tablespoons. Also going to add a teaspoon of Maggi. And I got one more trick, a little bit of MSG. Just a little bit, like a 1/4 teaspoon worth of MSG. But don't put too much in, because otherwise your barbecue sauce is going to taste like chicken soup. But what the MSG is going to do for you is basically enhance the flavors of the barbecue sauce. Now it's not necessary to have the MSG, but it definitely helps with boosting the flavor. Let's do a taste test. Wow, it's just insane. We didn't use any sugar, but it tastes so sweet. Sometimes I feel the urge to give a fair warning. The sauce is hot. I'm gonna put it in a blender. If you wonder why that requires a warning, just look it up on the internet. Nice and slow. That's the way to go. As you can see, the blender is doing its job by chopping everything up. I'm taking it nice and slow because of the heat, but I can also see that the consistency is a little dry. This is not gonna come out of the bottle easily. You see, now I still got a thick consistency, but it's a lot better. Now let's crank it up and get a nice homogeneous sauce. The sauce is now smooth and blended. Now we're gonna put it in a jar. But we're also going to put it through a sieve to get it ultra smooth. And now it is ultra smooth. This is the perfect consistency for barbecue sauce. The ribs have now been in for 3 hours and they're starting to look really good. They picked up enough smoke color and the core temperature should be around 70 degrees Celsius, which I'm going to probe for with my chef tap. Bro, that looks good. Stick it in the thickest part. Absolutely perfect. So let's get this rack of ribs out because it's ready for the next step. If you're watching these videos regularly, then you know that we did a thing and this is the other rooster. See, it's still practicing. It doesn't sound near as good as the other one. And not as loud either. It's a bit windy out, but that won't stop me. Wow, this looks really, really good. The color is perfect. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit of butter. Now, definitely don't want to stain the top of these ribs. I'm gonna put the rack of ribs on top of the butter. Now let's wrap this up. Nice and tight. And this is now ready to go back on the barbecue so we can focus on that sauce. I'm going to put it in and I'm going to raise the temperature up to 140 degrees Celsius. So besides comparing it to ketchup, we might also need to compare it to popular barbecue sauces. And these are barbecue sauces that I love, by the way. So hey, the Blue Hawk Tennessee Red, one of my favorite sauces because it's nice and thin. It's like a mopping sauce. And I got the Sweet Baby Ray's, which is one that I put on something because it's a finished sauce. It's just something like you dip in. I'm just going to take 3 spoons and put the sauce on the back of the spoon and then spread it out so you can actually see the difference. You can clearly see that the Blue Hawk is really a mopping sauce. It's so thin, you just slather it on and then heat it up and hope it sticks. The Sweet Baby Ray's is nice, thick, and the classic color and structure of a barbecue sauce. The thickness really helps it to stick to anything that it touches, and the sugar really gives it that nice sheen. And if you take a look at my all-natural barbecue sauce that has no sugar in it, it looks, well, almost like a hot sauce. So even though it has the consistency of a classic barbecue sauce, it's still really different. And I do need you to understand that you can't expect the same result without the sugar or a sugar substitute. The ribs are almost done, so let's get them out of the Bradley smoker and put them to the test. So let's open it up, take a look inside. Oh yeah, baby. Oh. So the plan is to put a little bit of Sweet Baby Ray's on this half of the ribs and put a little bit of the Pitmaster sugar-free barbecue sauce on the other half of the ribs. Now the rack of ribs go back on the barbecue because that's where they become nice and sticky and become the actual perfect ribs. There we go. Now, this is where I practice my patience for about 20 minutes until the sauce just sticks to the ribs and all those brushes just melt away and everything becomes perfect, juicy, tender, and whatever else you need from delicious ribs. Oh, that looks absolutely spectacular. But it's safe to say that there's a big difference between the side of the Sweet Baby Ray's and the side of the sugar-free barbecue sauce. And of course, it's kind of fair to say that there's a big reason why there's sugar in professional barbecue sauces, because it just makes it look so good. The ribs really pop in color, they shine, and they really do look like candy. And so there's definitely a big upside to presentation. But what about flavor? Well, oh, that's sugar-free, amazing. It might not look like the tastiest rack of ribs, but it's definitely very, very tasty. It doesn't have the power of the sweetness, but it's definitely sweet enough. How's it compared to the sticky sweet ribs? Well, well, it's sweet, but actually it's less powerful in flavor. I didn't expect that. a weird epiphany moment. This sauce tastes better than the professional sauce. So I can only recommend one thing. Try and make this sauce. The recipe's on our website. It's probably linked down below in the video description. Go check it out. I know it doesn't look as good, but I think you're really gonna like the flavor profile. And if you don't, that's okay, that's fine. And just leave a comment down below if you're giving it a try, because it's not that hard to make and you probably already have all the ingredients in your cupboard. So thank you for watching. Keep on grilling. Thank you for watching. Eet smakelijk. Keep on grilling and see you guys next time. Amazing. Sugar-free barbecue sauce.